Hello everybody, this is Frogman and welcome back to Manufactio. Today we're going to work on episode 19. Last episode we did a whole lot of researching, and I know I probably bored you guys to death with that, but it's kind of a thing that needed to happen. We've got a whole bunch of this unlocked now. I've got some ability to be able to make some of these militaries and some of the batteries and the exosuits, and I went ahead and unlocked the commando armor in between episodes. I think I didn't have lasers or explosives. Explosives are a requirement for the rocket launchers, the rocketry, the guided missile launchers, things like that. Stuff that I researched it for fun. The flamethrower was a requirement because flamethrowers unlock the ability to be able to fill fuel tanks with a bottling machine, which means I can now run the mining drill, I can now run the chainsaw, and I can run the jetpack, which, if we're careful, we made. So I have the jetpack now available, very, very handy. I've been using it quite a bit, so we're going to see that in a little while, but it's totally addicting. Once you get to learn how to make it work, it's awesome. We also unlocked some processing things. So the Frogman processor is now unlocked, and I have been processing a bunch of the bitumen into oil. This was full, so there was like 32,000 in that, or whatever those things hold, and this one was about half full. So we've worked through like 30,000 of that stuff. It's a neat process because this is kind of like a bank of oil. You're storing oil in a machine or in a solid form like that then you can then process back into regular oil. And because that thing makes more bitumen every time you feed it a little more oil, you get some of this back every time you process it. So it's a what do you call it? It's a cycle that eventually will wear itself out. It's diminishing returns cycle. So eventually, if I just tried to run the system off of that, I'd run out of it because I forget. I think it takes a bucket or more. I don't know exactly the number, but I do know that thing uses more oil than it takes to make one of those. So this will eventually run out, even if I'm pumping more oil into it. So these guys are pretty slow. They make a bucket of oil every, I think it's like a bucket of oil, 100 millibuckets of oil every 5 or 6 seconds, so they're kind of slow. Plus, they take a bit of power. They're less power than, say, a pump jack takes, but they still take a bit of power. It's like 980 RF tick. But they use a little bit of sand, the bitumen, and a little bit of steam, which I'm producing in that boil over here with the funky base because that thing couldn't keep up with 3 of them, to make small amounts of oil. And I have been turning on and turning off the pump jacks as I see fit. Those 2 guys are over there running, but I'm down to about the last 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's one more 5 pieces of oil out here. And then I'm going to have to start thinking of other things. So I probably have about 30 or 40,000 oil left. That is not going to get me to end game. I know it's not. It's not even going to get me through yellow. So I'm going to have to come up with something else. We're probably going to have to do the coal liquefacting because there is just literally no oil anywhere within a reasonable distance. There's a couple of patches way, way over on the other side of my base, and because it's such a pain in the butt to find because you have to use the core sample drill, it's probably going to be easier in the long run for me to just do liquefacted coal. So I have tons of coal. I'm not really using it for much, so I might as well do that. So anyhow, we're done over here. I just wanted to show that off. And instead of the only problem with this jetpack is I built this for a base as a person that could walk. So now all of these low voltage wires that I never bothered to cover and all of the high voltage wires are awesomely fun to have to deal with. So yeah, but jetpacks are pretty simple. If you just hold space, you go up in the air, and if while you're in the air you hold shift, you float like you have a glider. Now this takes practice because if I do this and let go, I'm going to take fall damage. But if I either wait till I'm almost there and then jetpack or hold shift right as I hit the ground, I don't take any fall damage. So it's an art. You have to learn how to do it. The other thing that we did research was the advanced biogenerator. I had, I think, about 11 or 12 biogenerators. There's still 3 sitting in here, sitting right here that were producing right around, we're capable of producing right around 1,000 or 2000 RF a tick. I forget exactly how much it was. This guy is kind of handy because of how it's designed. In the, let's see if I can get this guy back open. Power. In the little quest book here, it says it will constantly consume fuel to produce power, which means it is constantly trying to produce power, which is nice because that means this thing is always going to have a power bank. It's always going to be making power, which means if you tie it into your mainline system, it's always going to be producing power. It's always going to have a 2000 RF a tick plus whatever these guys can make constantly running, which means since these recognize that there is not a draw, the power is going to come out of here first. I have yet to see this thing gain any kind of a buffer in it because it's being the first one to draw down. It's also a lot more fuel efficient than these things are. A lot more. That was interesting. I hope we didn't break something. So it's a little drained down right now, but now I'm capable of using these trees. Now I can do a few other things. The only biggest problem I have now is I have so many poisonous potatoes, and I can't use them because they won't work in anything other than a crusher to run biofuels. So I don't know what to do with those. Anyhow, what's happening with this guy is he produces power, and it uses biofuels or biogenerated fuels. So like the carrots, the potatoes, seeds, wheat, things like that, saplings, all that kind of stuff goes in here. Leaves, I think, sugarcane, anything like that. It produces power, and it produces a byproduct of biomass. And biomass can be burnt in a biogas engine, and both of these guys together make about 100 RF a tick. They take a little bit of lava initially to warm up, and then after that, as long as they stay warm, or as long as they have a redstone signal, they will never use that lava again. So it also produces fertilizer. So that can go right into my farms, and it has been going right into my farms. And this also can be used to craft other things like more biomass. So if I wanted to try to make more biomass in a fermenter with other things, we can actually run more of these engines. These engines are not terrible. It's just that they don't make a lot of power. So this was definitely something worth building, and I probably will build another one. Please don't get into that wire. It has a fairly large inventory on the top as far as what gets used, and it uses whatever is in the first slot first. So if I put those pumpkin seeds in there, it's going to use those first and then the next slot. So if you have an excess of something, put it in the first slot. This will also, because I am regulating it to just a single stack, will only keep a single stack of each item in that inventory. So it runs. I'm very happy with it. It's something that I should have probably done a long time ago. So other couple of things is I've kind of started hanging up some turrets around because it's starting to get nasty. There's nasty spawning around, and I'm also trying to manage and maintain spawn rates around my base for a very big reason. Thing to note here is that I'm feeding it with a capacitor. An LV capacitor is more than enough to keep that thing happy. The reason why is that when you first fire one of these up or on a world reload, they will pull an immense amount of power and burn all your wires. Even if it's a HV wire, I've seen it burn an HV wire. So I'm regulating the amount of power that can go into that with an LV capacitor, and all of the other ones that I have set up. I'm going to put one out there eventually. There is one right there. There's one on the other side of this building. So we discussed a problem. And that was this thing here, the titanium processing machine. Titanium is going to cause us some pain because we need cybernetic parts. Cybernetic parts can only be crafted in a fabricator with soul sand. Well, soul sand, the only way I can get it in this real world is with a hell forge. Well, a hell forge takes these little bitty blocks right here, and I believe we need 9 of them. So let's get this cheated over to here. This is usable in this. In order to make 9 of these, I have to craft this 3 times. 3 times, so that means we need 3 sets of that, or 12. Where is he? Not 12. Yeah, 12. Where is he? Is he here? Anyhow. So I need 12 of those for that. So in order to even make that, we need 12 cybernetic parts for the Hellforge. And if I look at the, let me see, fabricator. A fabricator, you can make it with this, or you can make it with the elite control circuits, but then this offers up another problem, which is mechanical parts, which are made with carbon plates and a blaze rod. Blaze rods are makeable in either a reaction chamber or the Hellforge. So again, we're locked behind the nether. I can make this all day long. I've got lots of diamonds and blaze powder. You can make in a chemical plant with some of that nickel that we've all got laying around, some lava and some sulfuric acid. Or, and this is the big or, we need to get a massive amount of those things, or at least enough to start the process. In order to get these, this is how you craft it, or you go to the nether and kill mobs, or you farm loot bags. This is one of those things where Frog kind of goes, well, it's easy to go to the nether, but I want loot bags. I want mob drops. I want all that stuff. I want those things. So I built that thing. Yep, vanilla mob farm in Manufactio. This is I believe, a modified NEM bomb design for 112 or on up. It uses droppers and observers to fire off washing systems. And basically what happens is the mobs spawn on those platforms, as we can see, and then the system will wash them off of those platforms into a catch basin on the bottom, which then funnels them into a tube where they then fall and die to their deaths here very shortly. Bye, spider. The reason why this works, and this is the silly thing, the reason why this works is because, let's see if I can get it to display it. I'm probably not low enough. All of the caves, almost all of the caves within 130 or 40 block radius underneath my base, especially right underneath this thing, are already lit up. So the game literally only has 1 or 2 places to spawn mobs. Since I built this, all of the random stuff around here has stopped. Every bit of it has stopped. So let us do a little discussion. I'm going to go into spectator mode so we can kind of see what's going on, because it's a little easier. Every platform is controlled with an observer and a dispenser. The observer basically is pointing with his face upwards so he can see the dispenser above himself, and there is a dispenser on the top right there. That dispenser is there so that I can sense underneath of it with that observer, which will then redstone control the dispenser underneath of it. We are basically just timing this thing. It's running every 10 seconds. The timer ticks it. We set that off, it drops the water out, and it washes the mobs off the side. I'm using a 7 block radius from the center, or 7 block or 8 block radius from the center there, which means water can flow 8 blocks out. So 8 blocks out to the edges. We're getting some carbon in here because of the chickens, but whatever. And then it washes all of the mobs off of the platforms. The platforms are made out of obsidian, which was an absolute fun time to gather, but I had one of those pillars over there that I just went and mined out. The top is made completely out of concrete so that the mobs, should they be able to reach up, can't hit it or break it. And there is a fairly decent distance to the sides here. You don't need the glass unless you have those guys, because they can fly out. So what happens is the glass contains all of the mobs coming into the system. They all fall down to the bottom here. And some odd reason the witches like to go this direction too, because they can see those villagers, but that's okay, no big deal. Mobs come down, splash down into the bottom. They, of course, are directed into the center, into the killing chamber that is full of razor wire that is powered. And then there is a little bitty function right here where I'm overhanging the last bit of water just a little bit so that when spiders decide they want to climb the glass, they get to that water, the water shoves them back into the center, and they fall right back down the center. So that is an alignment tool. It just makes sure that anything that thinks it doesn't want to necessarily fall down the side or can climb back up and come back down is delivered right back down to the center into this loveliness of death. So it's awesome. We can get back out of here. The razor wire is sitting on top of a bunch of hoppers. Hoppers are then directed into this storage shelving unit thingy, and we make stuff. I make lots of stuff. It's kind of fun to make all of the silly things that this thing is making. It's not as fast as I would like it to be, but for what we're doing, I believe it'd probably be faster than any other mob farm. I do not have the polluted earth in there for a reason. The polluted earth will make an absolute mess inside that thing that I'm going to have to clean up with pumps, so I don't want to be doing that. It takes a couple of seconds to warm up, but once it does, it goes. Anyhow, the whole reason is so that I can open loot bags, and I even have, I think, 6 or 7 of these now in here floating around. So what happens is a mob dies, loot bag is produced, drops into the hopper then transports the loot bag to the shelving unit. The shelving unit then delivers all of the loot bags into this loot bag opener, which a bag opener is what it's called for those of you that are looking for it. It's a bag opener, not a loot bag opener. It's one of those really annoying things. But anyhow, we have a bag opener that is opening the bags. The contents of the bag are then delivered back into the shelving unit into the top of the system here. And as we can see, I have a bit of cybernetic parts. And I have a bit of mechanical parts. And I'm getting titanium, which is actually hilarious. I'm also getting lots of other high-level stuff, like laser barrels, like laser focuses, like carbon barrels, like all of the higher-tier stuff. I'm even getting the advanced rounds. I'm getting armor crates. I'm getting gun crates. I'm getting plenty of food. I don't even need to eat. I don't even have to worry about food anymore. I've got, tons and tons of bread, tons and tons of golden apples. I'm getting notch apples, for Pete's sake. Horse armor, diamond horse armor. You crush this down and get diamonds. This you get pulverized iron. Actually, I want that honeyed slice. Let's put that away too, since why not? Just all of the random stuff. Even just wire, applied energistics parts, user interfaces, machine. It's just crazy. So why I waited so long, I have no idea, but the monster works, and because of the way that mob spawning rules work, as long as I am within 128 blocks of that machine, which I'm calling it a machine, as long as I am within 128 blocks, or literally anything in this area, it's going to be producing mobs, because that is one of the only easy places for the games to spawn mobs. Yes. If I am within 32 blocks, the mobs can spawn and move. But because mobs will spawn within 128 blocks of you and not move, that thing washes them off the sides. They can't do any damage to my machine, and I get drops. So, that's my fun thing for the weekend. So where are we? We've got time. My idea is that I want to use these 2 little things now to craft some stuff that I need. So the titanium. I'm going to get more of these. So I'm not even going to go to the nether. I'm just going to build a hellforge. So let's go ahead and have some fun. I did craft up a bunch of ender chests because this allows me to contain some of my other stuff. And I also crafted up some of this and then realized that this was no better than something else, but we're going to need this later. So I am going to need a crafting box. Crafting table should be in tools. Tools. This is so handy. And then you make sure you don't leave your boxes anywhere because you put everything in your ender chest before you leave. So yeah, it did require silk touch, but so what? Where is my chest? All right. We need to craft a bunch of stuff. So in order to craft a reaction chamber, I need reaction chamber housings, which is that. Now, I don't want to screw up here because I don't have a lot of this, but I need 1, 2 for starters. Now, this guy right here is a piece of it. So we need 1 of those, which I need to put 1 of those back. This is the controller. Very nice. The glass requires a bunch of this. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those in there and grab the glass. Now, if I remember correctly, I need 3 layers of this. So processing, titanium, 3x3 layer of reaction chamber housing with reaction chamber controller replacing the middle block. Next, place 2 layers of reaction chamber glass. 2 layers of glass. So we need, I might not have enough of the thing, do I? Well, we'll see. We'll go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those and 2 layers of reaction chamber glass. Okay, I have 10 of those left. So let's start building this thing. I actually need one more thingy here. Let's see. We're just going to do that one more time. I hope that's enough stuff. I don't think it is, but we'll see. Anyhow, I need to dig up my dirt here that I have. Give me my dirt back. And thingy, where's my shovel? Hello, shovel. There you are. So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, with that in the center. I'm going to have to go make another thing, aren't I? Yep, I'm going to have to go make one more thing so I can make a little bit more of this. Okay, that's fine, because I might even still have that sitting over here. Miscounted, didn't read, can't read, it's not one of my strong points. Where is that thing? Can I make one more of those? What am I short? Nothing. Perfect. Put this in here. One more of those. 1, 2, 3. And I am out of glass. That's awesome. Well, that's fun. We can make some hardened glass. Hardened glass, if for anybody that hasn't made it, is only made in alloy kiln, which is a pain. But because I have a bunch of bronze and a bunch of other things and plenty of pulverized materials, I should have some bronze in here, right? I only need 3 pieces of that, I believe, and some sand. How much we got? So we can run upstairs, grab a little bit of the monster pile of sand that we have. That. Hey, give me stack. There you go. Thank you. Almost prepared for today's episode. Almost. But we'll do that. That will make us some bronze glass, which is 3 sand and 1 of those. And then that can be crafted into the last piece that we need, which is here. I just need 3 more of those, which is going to take forever. This is ridiculous. This is the only place you can make this stuff. At least I think. Yeah, it's the only place I can make this is in the alloy kiln. So, whatever. We can wait. Now, that used up, well, that's doing that. That used up how much of the cybernetic parts? Because I think what we're going to do once we get this built is I have 6 left, which is not enough to make the Hellforge. So while we're waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and research the Hellforge so that once I get a little bit more of those parts, where is this? Processing Hellforge. 175 each of red, green, blue, and purple. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Detect. Claim. Very nice, very nice. Put you away, and you away. Cool. And then that'll set things off and make them run a little bit. I'm also getting a bunch of research out of that farm too. I mean, all the little bitty pieces, all of the loot bags. I mean, it's just silly. This loot bag has, you know, lots of stuff like this in it. This one has lots of stuff like this in it. This one has all of the good stuffs. You know, they just, I think the only ones that aren't really all that great are the last 2. So, but anyhow, let's see. Are we done? We might be done by now. Hellforge for sure I will be making in between episodes. There's my 3 glass. The system goes bang. And reaction chamber right there. Give me one of those. No, the glass. Glass, glass, glass. That's what we need. More glass. Sweet. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Please. Oh, I love it. Okay, well, since you know, since I happen to have some stuff going on here, let's go ahead and make some titanium. Because we also need one other thing too, which is the focus. This focus right there, the heat ray focus. There's the heat ray focus. Was somewhat prepared for this. Now, this number is one we have to think about. Here we go. Let's see. Power processing, automation. We need to set the reaction chamber to, let's see, 30% of creeper acid and focus level to 5. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need, where is my, that. Perfect. So I think I can feed fluid into this. No, of course not. Well, we'll feed fluid into this side. Down. Wow, that's actually going to be a problem. Okay, well, we can do this. I'll have to clean this up, but I should be able to feed fluid into that side, and this has creeper acid in it, hopefully. If we turn a lever on, we have creeper acid. Where is my redstone box? Levers are probably in my inventory, aren't they? Yes, they are. Look at that. Awesome. So let's go turn creeper acid on. Boop. Up it comes. Now we need power. Where is my toolbox? Toolbox has all of my cables in it. I need an MB wire connector and a insulated MB wires. So we'll place one of those on top of here because I think that's where the power goes in. I don't remember exactly, I guess. And then that. Okay, cool. That's going to take a little bit to fill up. Now I need to get the titanium out of that thing over to here, and I think we'll probably just do it. Maybe I just dig a hole this time. Because I can make covers. That's to there, to here, to there, and no, and go. Is that gonna work? Looks like it. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so that's where I wanted to be with this episode. I'm going to have to build a few of those now because the only way I can really reliably process this stuff is with the arc furnace, which the arc furnace takes, again, graphite. Let's see, I can't spell graphite. Graphite ingots into graphite rods, these guys, which there are many ways to make this. You can either make them in an engineer's workbench, which is an automated workbench that we're already using to craft science, or you can make half ones with 4 of these in the metal press. And let's see, I think, and the graphite rod, or there is a thing here with a chemical plant with a little bit of sulfuric acid and 8 blocks of coal coke. I think, I don't remember exactly which one of these is going to be cheaper, considering that this is 4. So that's a lot of holy cow. So we'll probably just set up an engineer's workbench because I'll have to do the math on these to see which one is actually cheaper, because each one of these requires a hop graphite dust, which you make from squeezing coke dust. So it's 8 per of that, and then blah 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 blah. So it's probably cheaper just to do it in the chemical plant, which that chemical plant right there happens to have sulfuric acid going in it, so I can make them right there. And I have been smoking coal coke down for quite a long time. So awesome. So that's cool. I can now take this if I really need to and run it over into that electric furnace that I have chilling. The iron ore I am going to have to move out of this building and store somewhere because I've done a little bit more work that you guys didn't get to see over here, which I completely spaced out and forgot to show. But I went ahead and got tired of dealing with all of my miners that are over in the little mining chunk and built another rail yard here that is unloading all of the ores. So now all of these are stacked up nicely, and we can fly around the corner over here. God, I love this jetpack, and this is why I have a massive mining outpost over here that I have set up which is basically just a bunch of silos and a bunch of miners that are in these chunks. Just picking up all the stuff that's in this area. I'm getting gold and copper from over there, redstone, and a bunch of stuff from right here. All of these chunks right here where these are sitting are full of iron and coal and other things. But we're pumping them in through 2 silos, out into elite bins, and some of these even have double elite bins on them, into a rail system. I need to hook up the uranium and the titanium yet still. But yeah, I'm mining a bunch of stuff over here as well. Nothing too big to show off. I mean, it's just the same thing as anything else anybody's done. Is a bunch of miners, which everything is currently off right now because I have filled up a bunch of iron. So I'm actually kind of, using up. I've got too much iron again, so that's fine. But yeah, that's the story, guys. That's the system. This is what I have been doing. I am so happy I made this thing just for funsies. It has been so much fun to just sit here and watch it crank out stuff. I mean, seriously, I've got 3 nether stars and I didn't kill a single wither. I'm getting nether wart. I mean, really. Too cool. Too cool. Okay, well, I am going to end it here, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday and a Merry Christmas, or whatever thing it is that you guys celebrate, and I will see you guys later. I'm probably going to be not doing much as far as episodes. I may do one after Christmas. I may not. The week of the 1st, I'm going to go on holiday and take a well-needed, well-deserved vacation. So I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.